The more powerful X7 takes meaningful steps forward, but are they enough to stand out in a growing field of three-row SUVs? BMW's updates to the X7 for 2023 address a few of our complaints about last year's version. It gets a redesigned front end, retuned handling, and a particularly nice distraction: more power. Yet that might not be enough to impress for such a pricey luxury offering, especially when the X7 isn't too easy to look at. The entry-level X7 xDrive 40i's 3.0-liter turbo inline-six gets a 40 HP bump, so it now puts out 375 horsepower and 383 lb-ft of torque. Available off-road screens, cameras, and features like hill descent control help keep the driver informed and in control in trickier conditions, should it ever end up on anything more advanced than a beach access road. In spite of its extra power, the xDrive 40i manages decent efficiency for what seems like such a big vehicle, averaging 21-25-22 mpg city/highway/combined. Cruise control and lane keep worked well on winding roads and on the highway, though it would frequently request our hands return to the steering wheel when they had never left, which was frustrating. A redesigned interior has a clear differentiation compared to some of the more affordable three-row offerings, and the seats are more comfortable, both of which help the X7 excel in its attempts at luxuriousness. The only downsides are the redesigned air vents, which seem like they provide less air, and the new shifter format, which feels like change for the sake of change. It's the third row where every judge had problems, though. The rearmost seating area provided a critical error that kept the X7 out of the SUVOTY finalist conversation. The option for a 6 or 7 seat configuration is nice, but we found the folding process way too fussy for the third row's use by a big family on a daily basis. The seats point to a bigger issue with the X7, which is that it's a shred overcomplicated in many regards. Elements that do not need to be powered or electrified are, and they can be slow to move and frustrating to operate, like the creeping powered liftgate, allegedly designed in such a manner to potentially prevent groceries or wine bottles from rolling out. The final question is ultimately value. Starting at $82,895 for the xDrive 40i and optioned up to $96,745 as tested here, you do get a lot of BMW's best bang for your buck: a nice iDrive 8 system and screen setup, a well-appointed interior, and vastly improved handling. 8-cylinder M60i models start at nearly $110,000, pushing them into a different consideration pool entirely. Either way, that inaccessible third row, the X7's entire reason for being and why many would consider one over the venerable X5, is a deal killer.